This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News-free Dixie.
News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
We all be on the have our one and only brother CoREy Smith. He is the author of The Conspiracy of CREdIT, and also is the upcoming name of a documentary coming out in May of this year.
Conspiracy of CREdIT.
Conspiracy of CREdIT, and it's an honor to have you on because you're going to be breaking some knowledge down to us,
Right.
Some hidden secrets of the trade, as you will. How you doing today, brother CoREy?
Man, I'm excited. I finally gave me the opportunity to do this interview with you, man. You know, I watch you a little bit, follow you a little bit, so I'm excited, grateful, you know, to be doing this interview with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you on because I think it's so timely right now because people are really trying to figure out how to navigate this economy with the situation with the jobs. I know people said that a lot of jobs were produced, but a lot of those jobs were temp jobs, temporary jobs, low-paying jobs.
Right.
People are currently fighting the fight for 15, which should be the fight for $25 or $30 an hour. That's another story. But also hearing reports about in a lot of cities, 40% of young black males are unemployed. But you're talking about CREdIT right now. You know, the help runs this company, right? What is CREdIT exactly?
Right. You know what? I talk about CREdIT, but me talking about CREdIT pretty much entails everything that we just talked about before. You know,
Right.
The camera came on. It's about social economics. It's about I'm gonna say black empowerment because I know some people have heard me say I understand it, but my focus be on money.
Right.
So you know, it is more than just about CREdIT because I just use CREdIT as a means to try to help people get into a better financial position to better their lives, the lives of their family. Because at the end of the day, you know, my philosophy is if it don't make dollars, it sounds cliche. We know that cliche don't
Right.
make sense to me.
Right.
So, you know, I just try to provide a blueprint to help people use what they have, which is CREdIT, use that and manifest that into their green dollar, you know, to pave some roads for themselves.
That's great. So I want to ask you this because it's like the boogeyman in the room right now. Like a lot of people saying they are afraid of the times, the fear of the unknown. How will Donald Trump being president of the United States, how will he affect CREdIT?
How? Two ways. He will help. He'll be a help to you if you understand business credit, and if you understand how to take business credit, get the funds from business credit, and invest that into real estate. And the reason I say that is because it is. Like, you got to understand, a lot of people that Donald put into these administrative positions, man, they came from Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs owns TransUnion, right? One of the 3 largest credit bureaus. On top of that, what Donald's administration is also trying to do, they are trying to debunk the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And what I mean by that, they're trying to filter it down. Like, a lot of people say that it doesn't have a whole lot of power, but the guy who runs the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, he's actually been deemed like one of the most powerful men in government because they were created, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was like the brainchild of Elizabeth Warren. She was like this real big consumer advocate. And it was put in place to police Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So now, fast forward, Donald Trump's in office. If you just pay attention to who he's putting in place, like these cats from Goldman Sachs, which plays a big part when it comes to credit, the credit industry, and they're trying to filter down, water down, and take away the power from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which will make it harder for consumers that's trying to correct their credit, you know, get things deleted that are inaccurate, get things deleted that they are not. It may be a debt that's been created by a third-party collection agency. So, you know, all those things. You got to look at, you got to examine and see how it affects poor people the most. The good thing about having Donald Trump in office is this, because he is a businessman, and a lot of things taking place behind the scenes right now. I wish I could go all the way into it, but that's like a whole nother interview with banking, with business banking. Like remember I said this, within the next 9 to 10 months, you'll see the banks start to open up and lend more to small businesses, especially if you got your paperwork in place. It'll be like 2007 when you was able to do the stated income loans with a startup company. You're able to get $50,000 and below without having to produce any type of paperwork. So that's the good thing about having Donald Trump in office. I think the problem is with this whole political issues, the political scene that's taking place right now. So many people putting focus on Donald Trump and don't realize, man, he's just a distraction.
Right.
He's just a distraction. And I just my best advice to people is to don't pay attention to the distraction. Like try to look beyond that, because it's just entertainment. Like Donald came from entertainment. Right. He's a businessman, but he won the election. He turned the election into a reality show,
right? And
he won. So, you know, that's like my best advice to people. Like, don't pay attention to the entertainment, because that's all it is a distraction. Get your money up.
I'm glad you said that, and also I'm glad you brought up this interesting about who is Goldman Sachs. What is this corporation? Because it's like the last administrations, even George Bush administration, the Secretary of Treasury who told him to do the bailout, he used to be the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Obama's biggest campaign contributor in 2008 was Goldman Sachs. 2 Supreme Court justices that Obama nominated and were selected were working with Goldman Sachs on some stuff. Tim Lee got Obama's Secretary of Treasury, Goldman Sachs today. Who is Goldman Sachs? Tell us, what is this corporation?
You know what? It's simply they the banks. That's the bank. That's the big bank. That's why I say don't pay attention to Donald, because he not running nothing like that. Wow. Goldman Sachs, those are favors that you see. Those are favors when you see these people getting these administrative positions, these high political offices. Those are paybacks.
Wow.
You know, I mean, to me, it's not a jack in the box. Goldman Sachs, that's the big bank.
And you know, it's interesting because you talk about how they was doing all that lending in 2007. Then 2008, the economic bust came in.
Right.
The thing about it is the American people told their elected officials to not bail out the banks, and they did it anyway. And you speak of the favors that were owed.
Right.
Because of that. Because, I mean, the American people didn't want the banks to get bailed out.
Right.
Nobody should be made too big to fail. But it sounds like to me that Goldman Sachs is a legalized Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man. It's like right before we was talking, I said, man, a lot of things that I've seen take place within my life when it came to me being confronted by different government entities and just seeing how our government, not only here in the city of Memphis, but also our national government, how they treat poor people. That turned me into a pirate. I meant that, so it's like we talk about doing business. Like, I would do business. I've been doing business with people who I don't like.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I know what I'm trying to get accomplished. I don't have to be your friend to make money with you.
That's true.
You know, I don't have to be your friend to, feed my family. I know what my objective is, and I'm staying focused, and I'll get that done. That's why I tell people, especially men, stay out of your emotions.
Right.
Leave your emotions out of it. My emotions and my heart really for my wife and kids. Like when it come to me dealing with, you know, I mean, I want to help people, but my emotions when it comes down to it is for my wife and kids. So when I'm doing business, like I don't have to like you. I mean, it's a plus if I do it, we can get along, but if I don't like you, then, you know, that's just a part of, you know, that's just a part of me doing business. You know, that's one of my philosophies. You know, I was changed just because I just paid attention to a lot of the BS. And like I told you, when I lost everything, you know, I guess it was part of my journey with having to go and get a job as a corrections officer. Then I really had the opportunity to see like the souls of men, like these empty vessels that they had no brain because they had been trained so much by the system and educated by the system to only settle for mediocrity. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is when you talk about those big boys like Goldman Sachs. Like, man, it's a whole lot going on behind the scenes that the American public is just blinded by TV entertainment. Like, they keep you entertained, they keep you blinded. So,
like Caesar told them, keep them entertained with bread and circuses, they won't complain. Bread and circuses.
They won't complain.
They won't complain. They'll be too distracted.
Reality shows.
Yeah, that's what it is. So
Sports.
The ship be sinking and nobody's paying attention.
Nobody's paying attention. Like wow. you talked about how they say, I think you said 40% of the African American males are
unemployed. What they saying
unemployed,
in
right?
Cities, right? Young black man. Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is there's a thing called the Gini Index, and the Gini Index is really like a measurement of the gap between the rich and the poor. And it's crazy because the United States has one of the largest gaps in the world.
Wow.
You know, like the gap between the people that's making money and the people that's not making money is one of the largest in the world. The CEOs, their income continue to go up, but minimum wage kind of like it's slowly, you know, and it's still nowhere where it needs to be. Like you mentioned Walmart,
right?
Man, let Walmart say, hey, we hiring cashiers and we paying $30 an hour. I bet it won't be a line anymore when you walk in Walmart.
That's right. So that's actually what they should be getting paid for the cost of inflation, right? If you adjust it for economic inflation, you should get close to $30 for minimum wage. Yeah,
I mean, because man, they have people tricked, and this is no knock to anybody, but they have people fooled. You know, because you hear people say, man, pay $17 an hour, man. That's good money.
Right.
That's $2,000 a month.
Right.
What's 2,000 times 12 is what, $24,000 a year.
Exactly.
Who can live off that if you got a family? I mean, you might survive if you single and maybe a college student.
Right, but
no man can have a really decent life with $24,000 where he's able to vacation and do the thing, you know, have some breathing room. But they trick people so bad, people like, man, I make $17 an hour, like that's good money. That's not, sad to say, you know.
And you trading hours of your life away you can't get back.
You trading hours, you trading hours away. And you wearing yourself out.
Exactly. Wow. That's some deep stuff, man. I mean, you having all this information, what is the response from the public? I mean, like even from family members, strangers, whoever, when you tell people the stuff that you know and you actually apply it, I mean, how they receive it at first?
Man, either they're afraid of me or they embrace me, you know. And when I say afraid of me, if they're able to witness my lifestyle and witness the things that I've been able to accomplish and the assets that I've been able to obtain, you know, for the people that's closer to me, like in terms of my family, a lot of them, honestly, like, he gotta be doing something crooked because they don't understand. They don't understand they have the same power and the same ability to go and purchase homes, to go and purchase houses, to take nice trips, to take your family on the nice vacations. But they, it's easier for them to say that as opposed to just coming to me saying, Corey, how you do this? And then for the people that embrace me, they get it. They understand that they have the same power to do what I'm doing. It's almost like a kid. You remember when you was a kid, you truly believed that you could do anything.
That's true, yeah. Yep.
But it's like over the course of time, they dumb you down so much, and you competing to make the best grades, you competing to go to this school. It's stripped from you. You beating up so much, you stop believing. Like, well, man, maybe I can be a doctor. Maybe I just settle with getting a job at this warehouse or getting a job at this company, and you find yourself living like this mediocre lifestyle, like the dream was stripped from you. And I think if most adults kept that inside of them, you would see a lot more entrepreneurs if they could hold on to that part of them when they were a kid, to believe like, man, anything is possible. It's like, hey Ron, I bet you can't jump over that table, those two tables. As a kid, you like, I could jump over those two tables. But fast forward 35 years, you like, I probably can't jump over.
I'll mess up something. It won't heal right? So, wake up in the morning and something ain't working right.
So a lot of people just lose that. They lose their motivation. They lose that belief that they can do certain things over the course of time. So
That's so true. It's funny how I had this conversation with my auntie about this. How she said how she said they become cowards as they get older. Like how I used to be so old. I guess you're naive, but you had courage. Right. You had nothing to lose. You had the mindset, what do I have to lose and all I have to gain? It's like right now, if you really at the bottom of the economic barrel, what do you have to lose by listening to what you got to say?
Exactly. You don't have nothing to lose. Like, I was asked that question day before yesterday, on another interview that he asked me. He said, is there a correlation with being poor and having money in the bank? And I told him no. I said, because you could look at someone's bank account and it doesn't mean that they're poor.
Right.
But the whole point behind the question is, because I had made the statement, I tell people to live above their means. And he was like, we taught not to live above our means. And to simplify, it's like, I would rather struggle with something than to struggle with nothing. Because if living above your means like struggling, that means 98% of the population is broke, is poor. So if they still struggling, what is it? They living above their means. So they poor and they still living above their means. So I would rather, struggle with the big house, struggle with the nice car, as opposed to me, struggling with the small house and in an impoverished neighborhood, and driving the car that I got to worry about it cranking up.
Right.
Like, let me struggle with something as opposed to me struggling with nothing. So I don't buy into that. Don't live above your means. That's just saying don't go for it all. I don't have nothing to lose, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna die. Right. You gonna die.
Right.
At least if I do die, if I check out today, my wife was standing at my funeral and be like, man, he lived life to the full.
Right.
So, that's one of the things I just try to, that's my philosophy when it comes to living. Like, live above your means. Hey, the only other person I heard say this was Kanye. He was like, I'm gonna buy it and then worry about paying for it later. That sounds dumb, but basically what he's saying, like, that speaks to his motivation, that speaks to his focus, that speaks to his confidence, that speaks to his dreaming and knowing that, no, it don't matter, because I'm gonna get it done. I'm going to accomplish what I set out to do.
That was very powerful, man. How you said it makes so much. Cause when you were saying that, I was actually thinking about, I saw a documentary about Donald Trump, And how many people gonna lose a casino and become president? Like, how can you lose money at a casino? He lost 2 casinos, right? And they say he was sitting in the room with all the creditors he owed, but he didn't care about how much money he lost. He made sure he still paid his family and paid himself first. Like he said in one of the debates, yeah, I got bankrupt. The companies went bankrupt 4 or 5 times, but my family always ate.
Right.
We always ate. We always had a place to stay. And look at him now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, a lot of us, I think poverty is really not a condition, a physical condition, it's a state of mind.
It is.
It's a state of mind, right? You know what I'm saying? So, like what you saying speaks to me like, if you can manifest poverty, that means you can manifest wealth, right? You could be whoever you want to be, really. So what's stopping you from doing that?
Exactly. Man, Ron, it's just like this.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm sitting here right now with you. When I first saw you, I saw you on YouTube with Dick Gregory, and then I just kind of was following you, and then my friend, the Darius, right? It's like, yeah, I know, Ron, you gotta. But the whole point of it is this. I said, I'm gonna sit with that man. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do an interview with that man, and I'm here.
Right. Wow.
You know, to me, it don't matter whether it's CNN, it don't matter whether it's Channel 5. Like, I got a goal that I'm trying to get accomplished. I'm trying to let my voice and my message vibrate in as many places as it can. That means vibrate in this universe to draw power to me. Like, this real. A lot of people might not get it.
Right.
You know, like, I also use this analogy, and this is real for me.
Mm-hmm.
Any house that I've ever lived in, I go in that house with my wife. And I'm already, in my mind, saying to myself, okay, and this was just before the house is even built.
Right.
Okay, the sectional gonna sit over there. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm already picturing how all of the white furniture gonna be in this room.
Right.
The pool table gonna be over here, and this is how it's gonna. But I already see it. So and I know that it's real because it always manifests itself in the way that I saw it. Mm-hmm. But the key to it all is this: you have to believe it. Like, when you listen to these other people that are successful, and you believe in the same thing, trust me, you on the right track. And before I forget, like, I'm gonna just say this because this is the biggest thing with black people. Like, I hear them talking about Donald Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Like, really, man. And I said this in one of my clips. I don't give a damn about what Donald doing. He can be the president, right? Mm-hmm. But you can sit up and think Donald's a fool if you want. Like, a lot of people say that. You know what I do? Mm-hmm. I went back and I looked at old interviews that Donald Trump's son had. Mm-hmm. And that told me a lot about his daddy. Like, you can think these people are ignorant or dumb if you want. They very smart people. They very smart individuals. They are very calculating individuals. And they have the resources and the tools to get things done. Mm-hmm. But I just say, I say that to say that people put so much energy in and say, oh man, Donald Trump's he's a clown, and right. Why you give a damn? Like, start finding ways to get your money right. So it won't matter what he doing. Your finances will be right, so it won't even matter. Like, that'd be the biggest thing, right? How I'm gonna buy groceries, how I'm gonna pay for gas, how I'm gonna pay with this mortgage. Mm-hmm. Man, you worried about Donald Trump, and I know that's a big part of the American life, but I understand that there's ways to get around that, and people can say what they want. It takes money.
All right, that's true. I want to ask you this, speaking of, being concerned about yourself, but what is the National Fraud Database, and why should you know if you are on it or not?
Man, that's a good question. The National Fraud Database is a database that Experian came up with. And the reason why it's so important when it comes to credit is because of this. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. They might go out and they might apply for something, and they either might get denied or they might get a letter, or they might ask to be, hey, get on the phone. They got a few additional security questions that they want to ask you. People don't realize that's because either their telephone number, either their address, their name, or someone that's closely related to them, like a wife or a brother or a sister's name is in their database. It's in their national fraud database. So that's why it's so important to make sure, like, you trying to build your credit up. If you can, start out with a fresh telephone number. I don't care if you go get a track phone and try to circulate as much as possible. Like when you get that phone, when you get that new phone, you go and you fill out, you get the loyalty card from Kroger's, you go and get the rewards card from Walgreens, you get all the reward, you do everything that you can to start circulating that number, because keep in mind that they selling this information, and you wanna attach that number to your name so that it's not attached to any type of fraud. Yeah, your chances of getting approved for credit is better, believe it or not. Right. There are a lot of people that they might move into an apartment and not know that that same apartment address is in the National Fraud Database, because maybe the person that lived there before them maybe was a victim of identity theft, or maybe wrote too many bad checks or something like that. That's how easy it is for you to be placed in the National Fraud Database, or something that's connected to you to be placed in the National Fraud Database. So that's the reason why I say it's important that you know if you own it or not, your telephone number or your address, or your wife, or your brother. If any one of those elements is listed in the National Fraud Database, you should know, because it'll help you combat when you're trying to build your credit or you're trying to get a fresh start. That's the reason why it's important to know if you're in that database or not.
And speaking of something else, affordable medical care. People talk about Obamacare and whatnot, and a lot of us can't afford medical care. We talk about credit and about the sign of the times and people having economic hardships.
Right.
Well, what is the best way to remove medical collections from your file?
The best way to move a medical collection bill, the first thing you need to do, you always want to deny the debt. Deny it.
Okay.
Because you really can deny it, because it's a third-party collection agency. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do, you want to draw up a letter. I always say, get it notarized, send it certified mail. You want to create that letter, and whatever hospital, whatever clinic you went to, in that letter that you send it to them, you want to state that you would like for them to cease and desist any third-party collection efforts against the debt that you owe them. You also want to outline in that letter that you are willing to work out a payment plan with them. And you also want to inform them that if they do not cease and desist, that you will file a complaint with HIPAA. But that's just not a threat. You do want to do that anyway. You want to file a complaint with HIPAA against the collection agency, because trust me, if you have a medical collection, you could call that collection agency up, and I guarantee you they know if you had an x-ray done, they know if you had a CAT scan. That's a violation of HIPAA laws.
Wow.
Because they shouldn't know anything about any medical procedure. They shouldn't know anything about your medical history, your medical records. That's a violation. You also, after you do that, you also want to send a letter, a certified letter, into that same collection agency and draw up what's called an affidavit of denial. And a lot of people, they've asked me the question, like, what is that? What? And I keep stressing, like, it's in your own words. It's a simple letter saying, hey, this debt, whatever the amount is, from the original creditor, whoever that is, does not belong to me. I have no knowledge of it. Blah, blah, blah. Please cease and desist all collection efforts. Same thing. That's the easiest way. And then on top of that, you do the other things that I say. File a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. File a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. File a complaint with Consumer Affairs or the Attorney General, depending on what state that you live in, against that collection agency. That's the best way to remove a medical collection. And if all else fails, hell, file a police report. I hate to say it, but hey, I don't know anything about this.
But use anything at your disposal, that you can use legally to get.
Yeah, anything that you can use legally at your disposal. Right. I mean, I put that last part in there, but hey.
Well, man, that's the American way. I mean, like how many people got wealthy by doing the things it took for them to get the wealth. But a lot of times these folks did unethical things. Cause I still don't really know if you can make $1 billion ethically without bending and breaking some things. I'm just saying I don't know.
I agree with you. Cause I made $1 million. I ain't gonna say everything was always it probably was a few gray areas, but
yeah, right.
I mean, a lot of times they force you not to have a choice.
Right.
It's sad to say, and a lot of people, they fooled to think like, man, he did it the right way. He made $1 million, or he didn't have to. Man, trust me. 99% of the time, they did something somewhere along the line. They just didn't get caught doing it. Trust me.
Yeah. I know I was looking at. Have you seen the movie The Founder? By any chance with Michael Keaton?
No, with the McDonald's.
Yeah, Ray Kroc. He didn't found McDonald's. It was the McDonald brothers. But what he did, he saw them having a bigger vision than they had in terms of being a big empire, just a juggernaut of a company. They wanted to keep it mom and pop size, but he wanted to grow into what it is today.
Right.
But he had to do some interesting things. I would say probably cold-blooded and ruthless.
Right.
But that's the DNA of American businessman. You got to do these ruthless things because every time he had to do a thing about McDonald's, like whether agree upon the kind of milkshake they was going to use, he had to go through the McDonald brothers.
Right.
Franchise. He want to make a person to a franchise. He had to consult with them. Well, then somebody told him, man, forget about McDonald's. It's not McDonald's the store. It's the real estate. You control the real estate. You can control McDonald's.
Right.
Because like the people that got the franchise, they want to get the real estate from Ray Kroc and his people. They were getting it from a real estate agent.
Right.
So they were leasing it. But by him buying up the real estate, he found a way to go around the McDonald brothers without fascinating and took their company from him.
That's a cold game, but
it is what it is.
Yeah. Can you be mad at him?
No, he just played by the rules of the game. It's the crooks that make the rules. The biggest crooks never go to jail.
You ever heard the cliche? It says how does it go? When a poor man steals from the rich, it's a crime.
Right.
But when the rich man steals from the poor, it's business.
Right. That's genius, right? That's what it is.
So
it is what it is.
Flip it. I mean, you gotta flip it.
So I'm gonna ask you this: why credit bureaus really don't want you to freeze your credit file?
Because they lose money.
Okay.
They lose money. They get paid every time somebody pulls an inquiry on you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you freeze your file, these creditors don't have access, or potential creditors do not have access to your file.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the credit bureaus can't make $1 off you. So they really don't like for you to freeze your credit.
Wow. That's interesting. That's something. Speaking of people robbing from the poor. And what about this? Why freezing your Nexus and ID analytics report is so important? Why is that important?
That's important because you have so many people with messed up credit, right? Mm-hmm. I always advise to freeze your LexisNexis report as well as your ID analytics report, is because you do not want to give a collection agency or a debt collector any more additional resources when it comes to knowing who you are or trying to connect the dots.
Right.
Because that's where they get all of their information. Like they might ask you, like when you apply for a credit card and they ask you to set up security questions, they might say, what was the name of your first pet, or what street did Harriet Jones live on? All of that comes from your LexisNexis report or your ID analytics report. So I tell people to freeze it. Like don't give them any more ammunition to use against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my reasoning for saying freeze it.
Mm.
Don't give them ammunition especially when you're trying to repair your credit. You don't want to give them no additional resources to reference to.
So let's bring me up to this point. Like, tell me about your Conspiracy of Credit documentary. Did it start out as a book at first? Was it a book?
Started out as a book. It actually started with the first book, How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus, and it started with me experimenting with homeless people. Maybe I shouldn't say experiment.
Well, America's a big experiment. Yeah. We all just lab rats and guinea pigs anyway.
Right. So, that's what really gave me the idea of doing the documentary, because that's when I initially started filming. When I had the first two homeless guys,
mm-hmm.
I was the homeless shelter on Poplar, right by Exxon.
Yeah, right by
I was filming, like I had the two homeless guys right there on the Exxon parking lot. When I first met them, I still got the old footage, and that's what gave me the idea, because I took those two homeless guys, and man, when they got $100 grand plus,
really,
with each one of them, with each one of them. But I changed their life. Like I put them on, I paid for them to stay in their homeless shelter for like 60 days.
Wow.
Both of them. But while I was doing that, I was making sure their address was in place.
Mm-hmm.
I was making sure that they had all the right identification, a social security card, driver's license. And then I added them to like 4 or 5 of my credit cards to give them an instant credit score. Cause I had like my cards, no lace, like, Amex card. I had the Bank of America card and Capital One. So when it hit their credit file, cause they didn't have anything on their credit. So when it hit, they mm-hmm. instantly had 700 plus credit score.
Oh, nice.
From that point, I went and I put a couple of primaries, added to their profile. I don't too much use a lot of people use the secured credit card mm-hmm. approach. I don't use that. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna even say I don't use it that often, but I don't use it at all. Like I would rather take like one of my cards that I've had open for 8-9 years, add them to it. Mm-hmm. They instantly got great pay history, because what a lot of people don't realize with these secured credit cards, it can be a good thing for a younger individual, but it can also be a bad thing, because mm-hmm. the creditors that's coming behind them, some of them still look at it like, man, you still can't manage yourself. Mm-hmm. Because we have to make sure that this bank has to make sure that you don't spend over $300. You're not even capable of that. Almost like when people say, is debt consolidation a great thing? Well, it's not a great thing.
Okay.
Because it's the same premise. Like when you have to consolidate your debt, creditors look at that as you being irresponsible. Like mm-hmm. you can't even manage your own finance, or you can't even manage your own credit worthiness.
Wow.
So that's the reason why I take the authorized user approach to get that instant credit score.
So like I said, it's a conspiracy. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, but anyway, that's how it all started with those mm-hmm. guys, and it just evolved into me wanting to put out real information, because there's so much propaganda on TV especially with the whole, when Susan Orman was doing her thing, and you got these free credit report commercials. Like it's just a bunch of like entertainment. Like mm-hmm. man, or LifeLock. I got the whole idea with like, I'm gonna give people what's real. No, don't pay for don't pay for LifeLock because it's free. That's the reason why Experian sued LifeLock for being the middleman and charging consumers for something that's free to them.
Wow.
Right? Don't pay for Credit Karma and Credit Check Total to monitor your credit, because at the end of the day, that's the crazy thing about it. They have people so focused on credit scores. Man, what's my credit score? Let me check my credit score. You don't even need to know that. The only thing you need to know is this. I don't have anything negative on my credit, and all my credit card balances are below 10% or right at 10%, not 15, not 30, but at that 10% mark. The credit cards you have in good standing. That's another part of the game where they got people so entertained, people paying for Credit Karma, people paying for Credit Check Total. And the only thing you need to be stop focusing on the credit score, because the credit score gonna be there if you do what you need to do. If you make sure you have no collections, your balance is low, you have no late pays, trust me, your credit score is where it needs to be, and keep your inquiries low. Try not to go above 4 inquiries, within a 60-day period. Try not to go above 4 inquiries, and just keep it moving, and just leverage whatever credit that you can get your hands on into bigger lines of credit.
Now that's fascinating, because it's like the system thrives off of people's fears, to keep people fearful of things, including themselves.
Right.
So you saying don't believe in the fear, don't believe the hype. Just do what you're supposed to do. Just don't take care of yourself. Don't worry about what they doing in the White House. Don't worry about what they doing on VH1. Just take care of business, and everything will take care of itself.
Right. Yeah. People just focus on all the stuff that they put in our face on TV, and that's the mistake that you make. Like, I'm gonna say this, Ron. You right here in the city with me. In the morning time, you get on the freeway, and you got so many cars. You got the majority of cars going in one direction, right?
Right.
I don't want to be in that line where they going towards downtown, where they going towards Walnut Grove, because that mean they on their way to work somewhere.
Right.
I want to be on the other side, like traffic backed up on this side, but I'm on the side where I'm cruising, because that mean I'm free, and that's how you have to look at. You have to look at life. Like, I'm not gonna follow the 10 million people going this way.
Right.
I'm gonna follow these 100 people, because they know something that these other 10 million don't know.
Right.
You know, I am not going to Disney World. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Because everybody going to Disney World.
Right.
I might go to the Poconos.
Right. Something different. Yeah. I was about Dubai, actually.
Everybody can't get there. So I'm trying to figure out how can I go in that direction. That's how people have to examine life. Don't be fearful. No matter what you do in life, and that don't mean you don't have to be a millionaire. Whatever you do in life, don't kill the fear factor.
Kill the fear factor. That's needs to be said. You said kill the fear factor.
Kill the fear factor. That's it.
Wow. Like, what? I'm trying to figure out. You always been that different fish. Like, you going this way upstream, everybody going downstream. How were you able to be like, to become who you are? Like, the way you think? What helped you? Or is it like natural?
You know what helped me, man? Being poor. That first part of my life, living with my mom, living over like in New Chicago area, Bree-Love, standing up in the projects, and only having like 3-4 pair of pants to wear to school to start out with, and it just put something in me, because I always had the capacity to dream, and I guess it's why I love California so much, because as a kid, before I moved with my dad, he was a Marine, and he was stationed in California, like before I could, move to live with him. So years before that, I knew he was in California. So I was California dreaming then. And then once I got the opportunity to be able to go to places like California, like it just it made me reflect on my life in the beginning and how poor I was. Like I just always had the capacity to dream. I guess that sums up who I am, and as long as any person can keep that within them, the capacity to dream, but also execute, to turn their dream into a reality. I mean, you end up dying with no regrets. You end up dying with no regrets. So I mean, I guess maybe in a sense I am or always have been a little bit different than a lot of the people in my family, because I was the first to do a lot of things in my family, on my dad's side or on my mom's side, you know. So I'm trying to even now just push the envelope, and I'll get to where I'm trying to go, you know, no matter what. And that's just being comfortable and giving my family a comfortable life. At that point, man, I could check out of here, and for real, I have no regrets. That's why I'm fearless when it comes to me trying to put this information out about CREdIT, because people don't understand how powerful it is. Like, CREdIT is so powerful, and not to boast. Like, the night I ran into you at Walmart.
Right. Yeah.
Like that day that I ran into you, I sit at the computer and I did like over 40 grand just in CREdIT.
Really?
Yes. Cause I know how powerful it is. Like, man, you can do a lot with 40 grand.
Right.
Especially if you just got the right information.
And information is king, right? Man, information is power.
Man, that's what makes America so strong. I keep telling people information, they take information.
Right.
That's what makes their armies so
That's why the
powerful.
CIA hack into people's computers.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the information.
Man, like it's fascinating talking to you, because it's like you live like it's a video game. It's a game that you can win. Like no matter, or like you got the worst hand in poker history, but you can still win. That's how I feel like to be black here and to know the knowledge that you know and apply it.
You can win.
Yeah.
You know what? Man, being against the wall, like when the chip's down with me, it forces me to think. It forces me to think, in a way, like it's almost like I get a high.
Right.
Like,
I
get a high because I enjoy figuring things out. I enjoy figuring out like how am I gonna get this done? Like if it's a $1 million deal, how can I get it done? If it's a club that I want to open, or 10 houses that I want to buy in a bundle, how can I get it done? Oh, I know how I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna take 4 people right here, blah blah blah. Cause I know I can do it with CREdIT. I'm gonna take them to my CPA. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna get it done one way or the other.
Right.
You know, so yes, like it's a game, but it's a real game with life.
Right.
And you know, a lot of people walking around like zombies. Like I always say, you know, I know a lot of the African American kids, they don't have access to information.
Right.
And the sad thing about it is, it's like I say, like inconvenience is a privilege. And most black kids, or I'm gonna say poor kids, don't have the luxury of inconveniencing the people that have the information that can change their lives. You know what I mean? When I say inconvenience is a privilege, like my wife and kids they can inconvenience me. They can call me at 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, what can I say?
Right.
They have their privilege. Or like when you have people that reach a certain status in life, like they can pick up the phone and call Oprah. They can pick up the phone and call Tyler Perry. That's the power of being able to inconvenience someone. But the majority of people don't have that luxury to be able to do that. So they don't have access to the information that's needed to get them out of their situation. So it's like they stuck. And it causes them to burst like a pipe or either die. Just die from hopelessness.
It's like you get a lot of power out you have a really strong belief in yourself, a confidence that really can't be taught. Someone you was able to activate that in yourself. And you talk about walking around Memphis and certain places like Memphis, like The Walking Dead. I mean, young people have no hopes, no aspirations. It's like dreams have been swiped away from them at a very early age. Lack of intellectual curiosity by design. You know what I'm saying? It's not senseless. It's not senseless. It's systemic.
Right.
It's by design. So what can you do? Like, what keep you rooted in Memphis? Because you could be anywhere in the world and be thriving and be successful. You type of cat. You go California, you go Dubai, you go anywhere in the world, you can make a way when there's no way. I feel like you know how to manifest things, and you have tapped into something that we forgot that we had. So what can you tell somebody that's trying to make a way, they don't see anything, they just don't have the support from the family or from their environment? What would you say to that person?
Man, I used to feel like I had an answer in terms of like trying to motivate a person and allowing them to see the things that I've been able to accomplish without having nothing. Like when I tell this story about sleeping in that apartment on the floor with no lights with the wife and baby, like that's real. And the transition from that into moving into a room, that's real. Or from losing everything and staying at the Red Roof Inn. Remember the Red Roof Inn that used to be on Union? Like I'm staying there with my wife and kids.
Oh man. And
I got $131,000 Benz parked downstairs.
Wow.
And I'm losing everything, but that's where I'm at. And like, can you imagine that feeling like, man, how I'm gonna bounce back from it? But I have no choice, because it's like either accept that or accept the fact that God allowed me to live another day. And if I'm a spiritual being that's connected to this higher power or this greater mind, then I can draw whatever I need to draw into my life to get accomplished, whatever I'm trying to get accomplished, to take care of my family. Like that's just the bottom line. Is like I think what happens to a lot of people, it's like they are zapped for real through foolish entertainment. And what I mean by that, like, you ever notice, Ron, that a lot of us, and I'm gonna say a lot of us black people, we take pride in our poverty. And what I mean by that, like, we will brag on the bad neighborhood that we came from. Like, I'll take something like Soulja Boy. Like, you an ignorant dude to me. Because you want to fit in so bad that you want to talk about the gang that you affiliated with. Like, what they do that at? That's what I mean when you got these younger guys that it's some people that look up to him. And you teaching them how to take pride in poverty, how to take pride in violence. That's crazy to me. So it's kind of hard when you ask a question like how to motivate people, because they being motivated and they being trained by what I call like their magic box, their TV. Like them frames, man, them frames that do damage to a mind, any mind, so it's so hard, I guess, at this point, a lot of people, they gotta find their determination, they gotta find their motivation within themselves and stop taking pride in the pitfalls and the poverty in life, would start taking pride in the possibility of what they can have. Like for me, man, like, you right, I can be anywhere Like, I can be anywhere. You might catch me anywhere. Like
Right.
you literally might catch me anywhere at any given time. But it wasn't always that way. Like I just learned to draw off that positive energy wherever it's coming from. Because at the end of the day, man, we are nothing more than just matter. Right. Like we really walking around like this. And we really just one big great mind for real. It's true. That's why you might have an idea and be like, man, I got a great idea. Well, guess what? Somebody else already had that great idea.
That's right.
Because you connected to them it's somewhere. Because y'all on the same, you're on the same wavelength. You know, and a lot of people have not learned to haven't learned to tap into that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the difference between the people that get it and the people that don't get it, people that make it and the people that don't make it. Like no matter, like for real, like I saw you. I knew this was gonna happen.
Well, you made it happen.
Yeah.
You manifested.
Yeah. You gotta think. We were supposed to do this a year ago.
Right. And then stuff happened. But you know what was interesting though? Yesterday was the 20th anniversary of the death of Notorious B.I.G. And I was telling people we don't know how proudful we are because you remember the name of his first album, right?
Ready to Die.
Right. What's the name of his second album?
Born. What was it? Born
Life After Death.
Life After Death.
And it came out after he died. You know what I'm saying? Like he manifested that. And like I saw a documentary on Tupac. He was talking about how when he was talking about getting shot on racking and stuff, and all this stuff going to jail, it happened to him in real life.
Yeah.
He didn't realize he was manifesting that reality with the stuff he was putting out through his music. Your words create worlds. And what you believe in is your religion. It becomes reality.
Yeah.
That's how you base your... I like superhero movies. I'm going to shut up. Doctor Strange. I looked at Doctor Strange. Have you seen Doctor Strange yet?
Nah.
You got to check it out. But it talks about manifesting your reality, tapping into the multiverse. Like it's more than one universe out there and tapping into all these different energy fields and manifesting because I really do believe that's what's happening right now.
Right.
That we are in a great paradigm shift and people... They get it, gonna get it, and they're gonna be okay for next year and year after that.
Right.
But the folks who ain't gonna get it, gonna be left behind. It's a purging happening, but also it's a time for us to expand. Like you talking about being a pirate. When I remember when Donald Trump got elected, I feel like I was like the dude that was like the gangster on the eve of prohibition. That's how I look at all the opportunities we're gonna have to do stuff, and we only limited by our imagination and our will. So I definitely get what you're saying on that.
Yeah. See, people get mad at me like I ain't like they took like one of the clips from my documentary, I was talking about Donald Trump, the last one, and they took it as, some people took it as, you support Donald. I don't support
black people,
Donald.
who want some of our people, right?
Yeah, but I joke with my homeboys like, Donald's speaking my language, right? I'm talking about money, so, you know, but I understand all the other problems that people have with him, but it's just a distraction, but man, definitely what you saying is true. And for the people that don't get it, it's sad to say they won't get it. Maybe they'll get it in the next lifetime.
Yeah, not right now.
But not right now. No matter, certain people gonna only vibrate. No matter what you do, certain people will only vibrate on one level.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try to, like if they vibrate down here, no matter how hard you try to get them to vibrate up here, it'll never happen. It will never happen. No matter, it's like if I went and found a homeless guy who had a drinking problem,
right?
No matter what I do, like if we go and me and him get $200,000, no matter what I do, if I give him $10,000 or I give him $100,000, he's still gonna vibrate the same way. Right. And a lot of people like that. No matter what, like I was in Kroger's one day and this older lady, she said, I've been working here 12 years and I ain't never missed a day. And she took pride in it, but to me, like,
right, it's like, man,
I just couldn't do nothing but shake my head.
Right.
And I was like, just to say, like, man, what a sad life. You know, some people take offense to that, or some people take that as a put down, but that's being real. That's reality.
You're a wage slave. I mean, basically, they sucked the life out of you. I remember when I worked at FedEx while I was in college in the summertime. We call it the plantation. We work in the hub. We call it the plantation. And one of my friends was just like, Master Fred, thank y'all for y'all time. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he built his organization. It's like Henry Ford. He used black labor from the South. Coming and he made money off of them and made an empire off of them as well. Right. But like when you work for other people, I think black people don't understand. Black power is when you come in unity and solidarity. The white power is the way the system is run, is divide and conquer. Yeah. Anytime one of us or three of us come together as black people, we shift the paradigm. We make things manifest. But do we do it for us, for the benefit of us? Because once you get you working on 40 hours a week, wherever you're working at, do you have enough energy and time for your dreams to manifest? For your family, for yourself. It's like I look at, okay, we talk about the Walmart thing. Like, you know, a gorilla in the wild can eat 40 pounds of food a day. They don't have a job, but they eat 40 pounds of food a day. You got folks working at Walmart, places like that, working 40 hours a week, can't afford to eat. Need an EBT card, can't afford to pay their light bill. So really a job in a lot of ways is a violation of the universe. Yeah. Just be who you're supposed to be, and then the universe will provide for you some type of way. That make any sense? I mean, that's kind of crazy talk.
It makes a lot of sense. Because man, a job damn near sometimes is criminal.
It is criminal.
The amount of money they paying people, like it's for real. Like right. That's how you like what you just said when you talked about the power of black people like getting together. Man, I'm gonna tell you that I can remember the one moment where I knew that I was a very, very powerful individual when it came to how I vibrate, my mindset, and the knowledge that God had blessed me with beyond credit. Just all the other things I've been blessed to be involved with. When I talk about being interrogated by the FBI.
Wow. That gotta be scary. I know you're talking about fear.
Listen, in the beginning when they first started bothering me, it was scary. Like I think that was the point where I started losing my hair because I was so worried. Like man. But it's time like this happened like over the course of a couple of years. But then I found myself after they arrested me and they arrested my wife. Told all the cars, like didn't give me no bond, but I was sitting there being interrogated, and because these guys did not know, it's almost like it was at a point where they was almost mesmerized by the knowledge, but at the same time they was fearful and really didn't know what to ask me, really didn't know how to take me.
Like a Matrix thing, right?
Yeah, I guess if you could say that, but at that point, I realized, like, man, knowledge. When I made that statement, when I would hear people say, knowledge is power, and I come back and I say, no, knowledge is only power when it remains a secret. I really knew how much that meant at that moment. Because I just felt the energy in the room when they was just sitting there, like they really, I could feel, you know, we talking about the feds, like whether people believe it or not, it still was like an intimidation factor.
Right, of course it is.
Almost like this. Yeah, so that's when I really realized, like man, I can do a whole lot of things to enhance my life with this knowledge that God has given me. With the ability to maneuver in life, no matter what it is, whatever situation, whether it's a real estate deal, whether it's dealing with trying to get a loan from the bank, whether it's trying to buy a business or whatever. Like that's when it hit me at that moment. But I ain't gonna talk your head off.
No, it's cool. So, how can we see your documentary that will be coming out in May? Like, what would be the best way to get it?
Netflix.
All right, wow.
Netflix would be the best way. I might try to independently as well, like have it to where people can. Well, I ain't gonna say that Netflix.
Are you planning on doing any like public screenings and Q&As connected around the documentary, or?
Nah, no more than what you see on Facebook or
right. That's
YouTube.
You got good at networking and promoting yourself. So is there a website people can go through for more information?
Yeah, they can go to www.conspiracyofcredit.com, www.CoReyPSmith.com.
Thanks so much, Brother Corey. You have any final thoughts or words on this segment?
Now, let's live life to the fullest.
All right, man. Brother CoREy Smith, thank you so much. You are truly beyond category. In the words of Greg the Delta,
Thank you, my brother.
Keep on producing and pushing.
Likewise.